All right, everybody, welcome to our Fields and Features segment. We'll be talking about magnetics and coronal holes, sunspots, solar flares, and lots more. So let's blast through it. Here's 4 hours of data in magnetohydrodynamic pressure, and we're going to speed things up a little bit here with some fast talking. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. This is magnetohydrodynamic pressure over the past 4 hours. We've been doing it for the past 4+ years, showing it daily on the channel. Thanks to our regular viewers, Smash Team, etc. Here's ground magnetic perturbations, showing magnetic flux density at the ground level, Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. The last was Earth's magnetic moment from space. And like the last series of frames, this is 4 hours of data. Things are quite calm here, following the subsiding of some coronal hole wind, some coronal hole high-speed solar plasma showing up, now subsiding. We'll get to it in a moment. Also, some major flares happening in the past 24 hours. Make sure you watch our previous space weather video. Next, let's look at some magnetic data. We've been doing 3 daily space weather videos per day. And the GOES magnetometers are looking pretty smooth here over the past 3 days. Those are from the GOES 16 and 17. Let's look at the heliospheric current sheet. Earth is in a South Pole current sheet. This is pretty unremarkable otherwise. South Pole current sheet shown here in red, North Pole current sheet shown in green. We've got an uptick in solar activity. Make sure you watch our previous video for additional footage of that. We showed some spectacular images to start out our daily space weather videos for the day. You can see a pretty busy magnetogram there, and you can see that blue line swinging around, giving us indications to changes to the sun's B field, which is what we'll show next in our line of sight coronal hole plot. Those blue lines are the solar B field. Transequatorial South Pole-oriented coronal hole here rotating into the earthly zone. We're expecting some geomagnetic unrest early in the day on Saturday, March 5th from that. Here's a great view of the coronal holes there in 193 angstroms. There's also an M-class flare in there, I believe. It's not showing up that well in that wavelength. We'll show some better wavelengths momentarily. So we've got multiple named groups here. We've got 2954, 2955, 2956. Those are all alpha-class sunspots. They're unlikely to produce major flares. These 3 are all beta-class sunspots and much more likely to produce major flares. And really the most likely spots are 2957 and 2959, which will be the name of this new rising region. The likelihood of solar flares has gone up additionally since yesterday, in addition to the radio flux and the rest of the important features. Here's 1700 angstroms. You can see all those named groups. Alpha class, beta class, beta class, beta class, and there's another active region rising up here as well. There's 2959, probably the most likely spot to see a major flare, as solar flares are a little more likely to be major when they're at the limbs. Shout out to Eugene Bagashov. We hope things are going better in Belarus. So we're going to show a little slow-mo here. Here's a slow-mo of this flare. Let's bring that back. And one more time. So that's multiple wavelength imagery there. That is in 335, 193, and 94 angstroms. Here's 131 angstroms. Another great wavelength to show solar flares. Let's slow that down a little bit. Anyway, there's the moment of that M-class flare. Let's make it a little slower so you can see that propagate. It looks like a filamentary collapse was associated with that M-class solar flare happening around 1730 was the peak flux of that. There is the X-ray chart over the past 3 days from the GOES 16 and 17 measurements. No relativistic particles from that M-class flare. Are they coming out at an extremely acute angle to the surface of the sun? Maybe that's why they appear brighter at the limb, or maybe there's some relationship. So looking at the real-time solar wind, we see a subsiding of the solar wind speed, now down below 400 kilometers per second to about 375 kilometers per second. Solar wind density only about 5 protons per cubic centimeter, so we can expect a significant signal in about 2 days early on the day on Saturday. Planetary K index, the KP index is a measurement of global geomagnetism. For you new viewers out there, it's at 0. That's the lowest level of the KP index. It's very geomagnetically calm. Here's where stuff is now in the solar system. We hope you enjoyed your new moon with some great sleep. Here's where things will be in a week. We'll be switching to a gibbous waxing in 1 week. Next, here's what's going on above my head. I'm at in-the-sky.org. If you're up before dawn, you may see Mars and Venus side by side, as well as Saturn and Mercury side by side, all rising ahead of the sun. If you've got a low, clear horizon, check it out. It's quite a good series of our brighter objects, planets. Venus very high in the sky, very bright. And we'll show coronagraphs also. The SOHO LASCO C3 located here at Lagrange 1 and the Stereo A coronagraph located here at Lagrange 5. Stereo A on your left, LASCO C3 on the right. No coronal mass ejections, nothing too exciting to talk about there, but a serious uptick in solar activity once again. So thanks for tuning in, folks. May that solar wind be at your back. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news.